Hey guys, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. In case you guys wanted to see the launch vehicle for the mission that we're having right now, it's going to have 4 of these boosters. We're a little bit stronger than usual since we're going retrograde, which means we need to counteract the rotation and that momentum that we already have. We need to counteract that and go back the opposite direction, so it takes a little bit more fuel to do that. We also have the smaller lander can here. I missed that last time because I was kind of in a hurry to redo it. But we don't need to use the Mark II. We can use the Mark I. It's still a lander can. It will still qualify. And so we're going to send our resident redhead, Gregory Kerman, to this new Stargazer point here in the small lander can. Let's go. All right, so we're coming in with our periapsis right here. That's a little bit different when you're coming in for retrograde because kind of everything's moving against you anyway. And the Earth is still rotating, or Kerbin's still rotating towards you. So you have a propensity to overshoot pretty easily compared to going the other way, where you sometimes don't go far enough. And so we want to kind of make sure we don't overshoot here. So I am kind of burning retrograde to the point where I can get this landing point to be pretty much on the dot. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit here just to kind of counteract the spin. I think it's going to be about there. And so we're coming in a little bit slower than usual in that case, but it's still not going to stop our parts from getting hot. So we're definitely going to still get hot, but hey, we're going to get down there, all right? So we got 310 meters per second left. And you can see that the planet is still rotating. I'm going to have to counteract this a little bit more. Bring that down about there. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll hit this. Bring that point in even further. We really want to make sure we're not going too fast. There we go. And let's bring that in just a little bit more down. There we go. Right on that money mark right there. Okay, so 118 left. We're going to proceed down. And as long as we're not going too fast, which is what I've been doing, I've been regulating my speed, trying to make sure that we have plenty of thrust available to do this where necessary. Bring this down just a little bit more. My gosh. It is really wants to get me, doesn't it? There we go. Now it's still moving up. Wow, it's very persistent. I'm moving up like that. Let's burn a little bit retrograde here. Slow ourselves down a little bit. That's it. That's all we can do. Let's go ahead and get that done. And we should see this start pulling in a little bit. I don't know if it'll pull in enough. Looks like we're going to get really close to the marker here. Right where we need to be. Oh, yeah. Right where we need to be, baby. That's what we're talking about right there. All right, so something weird happened when I deployed the chutes just now. Everything just points that way now. We're just pointing forward rather than having facing retrograde. So, like, the moment the drogue chute popped, which is the safe temperature for it to deploy, my whole craft just decided to rotate. So that's a really weird thing. I'm not sure why that would be. If we have lots of drag from this side and most of the weight is on this side, then it shouldn't have done that. But either way, we're falling pretty much straight down now. So that's cool. And all parachutes are deployed, and we're falling as close to this point as we can possibly get, I think. I don't know if we can get any better than this. So we'll just go ahead and drop down now. We did all the science we could do. Now atmosphere over the mountains. And no idea exactly what this landing is going to be like. Landing in the mountains sounds like it's a really risky thing. Let's see whether or not we go tumbling down the mountain. But I tell you what, we got pretty damn close to that point. Curb-wide tour is, we're like right on top of this thing. Less than 3 kilometers, it looks like. So, very exciting. I'm gonna land right down. Yeah, it's weird. Like the parachute is kind of, I don't know, like it should stay upright, but I don't know, whatever. It's fine. It didn't burn up, so that's all I care about. Get rid of the part manager. All right, so we're looking at, God, get rid of the stupid part manager. There we go. We're gonna land on this side. This is gonna be very tricky. I don't know about this. This is gonna be silly. Let's EVA. Let's get out. Get out. Let go. Get out of the way. I don't trust that the thing's not gonna explode, okay? I don't trust it. I think it's gonna explode, so I'm getting the Kerbal out of there right now. Bye, pod. It probably explodes. But the thing is, right, let's do the science while we're here. I think because I launched this vessel, if it doesn't explode, that would be great. The parachutes are slowing its descent down the mountain. I'm sorry. I just think that's really funny. We want to do an observation as well, so let's run that too. Okay, so while we're running the observation, we got to head that direction over the mountain. I like this. This is really cool. I like how the mountains have all these sculpted rocks and stuff. I do wish that they had collisions. The fact that we're still walking through these things in 2023, now 2024 probably by the time you see this. I don't know. It's the fact that this is happening still. It's a little bit annoying. I feel like we should have collisions on all these rocks by now. If a random modder... Well, I guess they're not that random, huh? If the modder for parallax can do it, then I feel like, you know, Intercept can do it. I feel like Take-Two can pay for something like that, right? I feel like that's a reasonable request, having rocks with collisions. All right, same thing we did before in the desert. We just run that way. Now, I am going to keep an eye out because landed in mountains is our biome currently. And, right, if we get to a different biome where it says something different than mountains, I can run all these experiments again. I have 18 science on this Kerbal. We're just going to run and get that. Look at this place, man. Isn't this awesome? This is like, these are like the kind of locations that people want to set up like their cabins in, you know? Like this is like where you go to escape the government. Right? This is where they go, man. Oh my gosh. So that's the point right there. It's this huge thing up there. And I definitely misread the distance we needed to go. I don't think I was 30 kilometers away. I think I was more like 13 kilometers away. I was really far away. So I'm still running here. I have been speeding up time, but I slowed it down for you guys just now just because it's just beautiful, man. This place is gorgeous. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I can speed it up here. Turn the UI back on. We still have everything's basically landed in Kerbins. Every once in a while, the location changes. And that's basically the Kerbal being airborne, and it's just changing to atmosphere above mountains. But it's not really allowing me to do any other experiments. So everything's still mountain so far. And I am still, I don't know how far away from that. It's pretty bright. You can also do these really cool like drone shot kinds of things if you zoom really far out from your Kerbal. And, you know, you run with your time acceleration and stuff. But you can get kind of like your Apple screensaver-esque, you know, on the Apple TV and everything. You can kind of get something like that going. Like a flyover shot. It's pretty nice. I like it. But your Kerbal's still way down there. Running his little butt off. And that should complete the objective, but I don't know. I might stick around here just to, I don't know, just to check it out, man. See if there's a way to get up on top of that thing. It'd be cool if there was like a walking path that take you all the way around. I don't think so. All right, so we're landed at Kerbal Stargazer Point now. So we can run the surface survey because that's worth science as well. Here we go. All right, pretty good. That's actually worth quite a bit. And then we do the crew observation, which is worth science on its own, but also it completes the objective. And that is, I am happy to report that it is a gigantic rock. All right, good. That takes care of the thing for mission control. And everything is awesome here. So, all right, shall we go on to our next task? Historic site has seen the most marriage proposals and breakups in all of Kerbin, and quite a few dance parties as well. Looks like the tour is over. Thank you for joining the Sean's Cannery Sweepstakes Tour. We invite you and your loved ones to get in a can and stay fresh. Wow. All right. That takes care of those. That's fine. Let's do the fuel station in orbit. It's a very quick thing. It's not going to take very much time. We just need to orbit Kerbin with an X264 Methalox fuel tank and a docking port. Very straightforward. So as long as we have the proper tool, I gotta remember what's the part that we need again? Where is it? Not the action group manager. Can I not see the mission control from in here? I can see it during the mission though. I think it's one of. Is it this one? This looks familiar. X264. I think this is the one we needed. All right, so we just need to get up there with that. So we can just use a probe. It's no big deal. So we'll take the HECS2, I suppose. Why don't we make this the main part, shall we? Yeah. So we'll take this probe. We're going to go with a quick adapter. I think it'll probably be... one of these will suffice. Like this will be fine. So a little adapter there, and then what we want, right, is for this to be like a fuel. We're gonna get a fuel station for this. So I think I want to drop this off as a craft that's capable of maneuvering itself a little bit. So why don't we add a reaction control system on this? Very easy thing. We'll just add not a decoupler. Never remember where these things are. We'll add one of these on there just to give it a little more control authority. And why don't we see about doing 2 or maybe even more than 2? Maybe we have a really big refueling station. Huh? Now, this is the part where having fuel lines would be helpful because they're not on decouplers. They're directly attached. There's no way to move fuel between these things. And that's the situation where having fuel tanks, having the fuel lines would be a cool idea to have. I don't need to do that, right? We have 1,300 science though, so it's like, maybe we could do that. I think heavy landings would be a good thing to get the legs, because we're going to want to do stuff like that. Multi-engine mounts, scallops, cargo noses, precision aerodynamics. We probably should look into planes pretty soon. Why don't we grab the fuel lines anyway? We can do that. And we're not going to bother with precision propulsion just yet, but we'll grab the fuel lines for now. Go back to the VAB. So in here, probably utility. No, fuel tanks then? Where do you put the lines? Right here, fuel tanks. So in here, we're going to take these exterior tanks. And we're going to... well, I was going to... Wow, I can't cancel this. You actually have to... Yeah, okay, interesting. I want to do it with symmetry here, so there we go. So I want to have these connected like so. Now all of these tanks are connected together, and it probably makes more sense. I realize there's no down or up in space, but hey, we're going to do it down here. It's fine. Let's bring the fuel lines like that. All right, so that they can be all connected with each other. And then we can go in and put in a single fuel line from this side and connect it to this one. And now everything is connected. All of the tanks will share the same fuel resource, which is pretty nifty. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we need docking ports and stuff to dock ships to these to refuel. That's part of the parameters. So probably in coupling, docking ports, and we can just put in, I think, like one on each tank is probably fine. We can have multiple ships refueling at a time if we want to because of that, right? Let's just kind of put them, I want to line them up to be, yeah, I guess that is centered, isn't it? All right, we'll put those in there. All right, so I know this looks really stupid, but I'm going to take the probe core here. We're going to kind of bring it down here, connect it, and then bring it back up. So obviously there's a bit of a structural weakness here. We're going to use struts to make all that nice and strong. And then this is the stage that'll end up circularizing the orbit. And then this will turn around and deorbit itself. Okay? But in order to get the whole thing up there, we obviously need a lot more than this. So going into coupling, let's grab that. And I'll mark that as a favorites too. I use these things a lot. So let's use those. Mark that one as a favorite. You got to mark favorites because it's a lot faster than going through this. I keep doing this. I keep going through all these things. But that's just because I've forgotten to mark them as favorites. At the bottom here is a more efficient stage. It can push it around a little bit in orbit. This is already in space. So this is the stage that needs to do all the heavy lifting. All right, so we're going to have you like this. And I think that with the mainsail is going to have what kind of thrust to weight ratio? So 0.5. This is Kerbin in a vacuum. I want atmosphere here. So we're at 0.47 in an atmosphere. And that ain't good, right? Obviously, that ain't good. However, if we were to, say, do this absurdity, well, then it would be much gooder. So this stage has a 1.4. Hey, isn't that nice? So we'll just use a whole bunch of mainsails. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And we're not going to do this, but we are going to take this and go there like that. And we probably should move this to where it's kind of centered. There we go. 5 mainsails to push this thing up there. Oh, yeah, baby. There we go. You want one more? Let's do one more. Boom. There we go. And then we're going to grab these big-ass boosters right here. And they are going to join the same stage as the mainsails. And I think we're going to scoot these up a little bit so that the mainsails are what we're sitting on right there. So they're going to join the same stage as the mainsails, just like that. So everything fires. Everything here fires at the same time. Okay? This engine needs to fire at the same time too. So all these mainsails fire at the exact same time. They all have the same amount of fuel. So everything's peachy there. And then when we decouple this, the whole thing, the whole stack just leaves. The whole stack just poof, gone. I think that's great. And then we want to make sure that we're all sharing fuel supply through here too. So I'll go ahead and make sure that we share fuel supply by, it's in the fuel thing, isn't it, right here? We're going to make sure that we share fuel supply with everyone. All right. Everyone shares. Everyone shares. All right. Now everyone can draw the same fuel supply. Okay, good. I think that is enough to, I know it doesn't look like it because it says 3,100 meters per second, but I kind of want to test it to see how absurd it is and see whether or not we can actually get it into orbit. And it's possible that we need an extra couple of boosters. You know, who knows? I mean, that could be the answer to all of our worries. We could just, you know, we could just do something like this, right? Surely that would be enough. That's enough firepower to get us up there. Yeah, 330. I feel like this isn't enough still because there's so much fuel here, and I think typically you would want to make a station like this in waves. You'd want to bring up like 1 tank at a time, 2 tanks at a time, that kind of thing. But we ain't got nobody got time for that. All right. It says 3297. Let's find out how close that is. How real is that prediction that you got there? Let's find out. So again, very absurd. So absurd. So absurd. All right, well, we're starting things off by just having the tanks fall off. So there's that. Maybe we maybe we revert to VAB and make sure that we've strutted everything correctly. The landing pad. All right, good. Obviously, this is not very aerodynamic, so we're not gonna do great there. But hey, maybe we'll at least get off the ground. It's struggling. It's a pretty heavy thing. Now, we could definitely do this easier if we launched the tanks to where they didn't have much fuel in them. I'm launching them full, okay? That's clearly a mistake here, I think, because, well, we got ourselves a lot of engines. And that's cool and all. Don't get me wrong, I think having all these engines is pretty dang cool, but it certainly ain't economical. But if we can launch everything in one big launch with full fuel tanks, then that ends up being a lot more economical than 2 launches, right? Trying to save the government money, all right? It ain't our money. We're not spending it. You see that? We just design things. We don't have to spend a dime for them. We don't have enough thrust to weight ratio to get to space with this. Pretty sure we don't. And it just took out 2 of my engines. It sure did. Well, let's go. Bye. Yeah, so I think what we should do here is probably launch these with the tanks not full. The other thing we're going to need here, we're going to need stability. I'm pretty sure we're going to need stability. So I'm going to have some stabilizers put in right over here on these. We'll just go like this. And that should be enough to keep us facing the direction we want to go. Now, again, I could add some aerodynamics to these tanks, but I don't want them to look like that. I want them to look exactly as they do. So I don't want them to do that. We're at 4709 on our meters per second here. So I'm feeling like maybe we can add just a little bit more fuel to this if we want to, right? We can add a little bit more here. And if we do that, we can get ourselves just a tad bit more fuel up in orbit. 4453, that seems better. Okay, and we're going to try that. And like, I guess the only way to do it would be stack separate, right? We can use stack separators before we... Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. We use some stack separators for all of these stages here. So we would want to go... I guess decouplers would be better. And then we want to flip them over like that. So let's look at this really quick. Yeah, this is what we want. We want upside down decouplers instead. And then with that, we can go into our structures, find something that's a bit more aerodynamic, and we go ahead and have that be the top instead. And then when we're ready, we'll just decouple these to get rid of them. All right, let's try that instead. So obviously this needs to be a different stage. Probably after this. We can put it there. Yeah, that's probably fine. Right there. And then this mainsail there. Okay, we want there. And you two are going to fire at the same time. Yeah. Okay, that's more simplified. I think that's a much more simplified staging we got going on there. I like it. Okay. 4429. This absurd nonsense that no one should ever build. Nobody should have a rocket like this. Never build your rocket like this. It looks stupid. But, hey, you know, I like function over form all the time. And if we can launch this thing without any, without the need to have another launch, well then, that sounds great. Everything looks, I want to say, a boring color. I don't exactly have the most exciting color scheme. I haven't investigated that yet. I should probably look into that, right? Look into, you know, getting a new theme, new color scheme for everything. Oh, we definitely need the mainsails. Wow, we do not have nearly enough thrust without these mainsails pumping it out. So, okay. All right, now hopefully we don't lose any of them on this decouple we're about to have here. Don't lose any. Here we go. And we're good. We didn't lose any engines that time. We still got our fins. Everything seems pretty nominal. And our 5 mainsail engines are going to take us to space, my friends. Oh, yeah. Again, we got all the fuel that's in this stage is the stage that's supposed to take it, you know, put it where it needs to go. Excuse me? You're kidding me. You're overheating? It's at 1,500? We're so far out of the atmosphere, you got to be out of your mind, you little probe. I think the little probe's about to explode on me. It is still increasing how warm it is. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, no shit. You're about to explode. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, you know what? We're out of the atmosphere now, so that's it. Done. Did I? Okay, right here is where the solar panels are. We want to extend our panels. We can't put them back, but that's okay. We're going to bring our panels out. It's not very good. And I probably shouldn't have done that until decoupling this stuff. That was a mistake, because now when we decouple these, they might hit the panels. So I'd say that's a bit of a whoopsie. All right. All right, I think we'll go 85. Why don't we aim for 85 kilometers here? So right about, get our apoapsis up just a little bit more. God, we still have 800 meters per second to go in this stage? That's insane. That might be able to put this thing up to like 100, 120 or something. Maybe this is the start of a station, guys. Maybe we just make this the start of our space station. I mean, I would like to have the bigger docking ports before doing that, but still, it would work. It's got 4 docking ports. So many crafts can board to that thing. All right, we're basically at apoapsis now, so let's go ahead and punch this. Max speed ahead. Remember, this needs to deorbit, so regardless of where we're at here, we do need to make sure that this goes back to Kerbin. So it doesn't matter if it's got fuel left in it, a delta V remaining, or anything like that. It has to go back to Kerbin. So stop this right here, and we will decouple this. There we go. We are now separated from that main side. And we want to just create some separation if we can. It's not letting me. Oh, no. Why aren't you letting me? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. It's not letting me let go. Get out of there. Get out of there. Yeah, get out of there. There you go. All right. Well, I don't know if that's going to deorbit or not. I mean, we have some speed, but that one might actually be good. I don't... Can I go to that craft? The normal buttons that's used to maneuver between vessels in range isn't working. Because normally there's a button you use the brackets to move between vessels, and I'm not able to do it. It's not actually going over there, so that's a little weird. But regardless, yeah, we can circularize this now. I think we're gonna go to 90. I want to see what happens to this. Altitude on the junk. 81. Can I see? I don't want to destroy, right? I've heard this in my comment section so many times so far. Like, you can just right-click destroy things. I know. It's so obvious. All right, I've played like 2,000 hours of Kerbal Space Program. I know you can do that. I don't want to do that. It's not in the spirit of the game to do that. You want to manage your stuff so you don't have space junk. You don't want to just right-click it away. Well, I don't anyway. You can play how you want. I don't want to right-click it away. I want to manage the stuff correctly, all right? That's why I do it the way I do it. Because we don't have a right-click destroy in real life, okay? That's why. All right, we're gonna go just real slow here. Let's circularize ourselves around 90 kilometers, okay? That's where we're aiming for, is 90 kilometers-ish. All right, so 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, bring it up, and right about there. That's about as close as we're gonna get to circularized. They're like periaps and apoaps are off by 2 meters from each other. So that's all we're going to get, ladies and gentlemen. That's perfect. That's what we're looking for. So now let's make sure our batteries are charged before we deorbit this bottom section and we end up with just this. We want to control from here so that we're going to be managing this bottom section here. And then the first thing we're going to do, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done? These things are still here. Son of a bee. I can't believe we did that. I'm going to leave them. I'm going to leave them. I hate that I'm leaving them. I don't want to leave them. I don't want to leave them. All right, we're going to do this. I've got 980 meters per second left. We got a lot of fuel left. All right. So this is how we're going to do this, okay? You watch and learn, folks. This is how you deorbit shit. All right. First, we're going to point retrograde, all right? Then we going to burn it down. Boom. We're going to burn this down as fast as we can. There we go. There we go. And stop. All right, right there. 67. Now we go and get them. Get them out of here. Pop. They are detached. All right. Now, what we want to do is kind of wiggle them off without interfering with our solar panels. So if we could just wiggle these off without hurting solar, that'd be great. There we go. There we go. Get away from us. Perfect. All right, then. All right, then. Now, we are going to go back over. Point prograde. And get this craft back into orbit. And all of this shit should now be, you know, deorbiting soon. But we're going to make sure that we are back in where we want to be. So now we're back in space. All right. Very good. We did it. We did it. Now, we need to, of course, recircularize. So that means going all the way around again. So Kerbal apoapsis. All right. We got this thing within 4 meters of each other. All right. That's it. I'm done. 4 meters is enough. All right. So we're just going to angle this thing up a little bit. Now, I say we're going to angle it up because I want to face the sun. But in reality, there's like you can't face at the sun because eventually you'll be facing away from the sun, right? Everything's going around the sun. But if I face it, say, normal, for example, then these solar panels should always have the sun because they're facing, well, yeah, they're facing upwards. So they're facing the north, I guess. So they'll always have the sun because they're at the top of this thing. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We'll control from here. And then let's go ahead and disconnect. Get out of here, right? So disconnect. There we go. We are disconnected. Now we're clear. Let's go ahead and turn ourselves retrograde. And we're going to deorbit ourselves. If we're going to do that, we probably should do it in the water. All right. I mean, I'm just saying it's polite to do so in the water. We have a lot of Delta V remaining. I know it doesn't say we do, but we do. So I'm just going to take us to this point here. This is close enough. This is fine. And we can point, let's say, about here. Let's point this direction. All right. And then we'll just go boom. And that's going to bring our apoapsis, our periaps down into the atmosphere. And man, we got a lot of fuel, don't we? We could go a long time with this. Isn't that swell? Obviously, we want to go in at a very extreme angle so that we just burn right up. So that's what we're doing. We got our fuel station up. That's pretty good. All these tanks share a supply. So if we enter into one of these and we dock to one of these things, we will be able to fill up all of them from that. And if you want to see what kind of supply is in there, you can't go to the parts list and find that. It's silly, I know. You also can't see it in any display here, which is like it was in Kerbal Space Program 1. Nope, you got to go to the app drawer and then go to Resource Manager and then open Methalox. And only then will you be able to see what's in each of these tanks. And then you can transfer them too. We can move all the fuel into the central one, for example, if I really wanted to. I don't care, but we could do that. That might make it easier to fill things later. Let's grab the science for doing that. You did that in record time. Did you notice my new glasses? They're the same shape and look as my old ones, but more expensive. I hope the Rockomax CEO comes by again. She seems like the type to notice the little things. Speaking of little things, there's a lot of fine print that legal didn't read within our Rockomax contract. Of course, you know my oversight is terrible. My eyesight is terrible, sorry. My oversight apparently is terrible too. The fuel station is in orbit now, so there's no backing out. What does in perpetuity mean anyway? Fine. Okay, so Geostationary orbit is the last of the secondary things that I care to do before we hit the Duna thing. And for this, we just need a probe core to orbit at a really, really high altitude. Seems fine to me. Let's go back to the VAB. The way I see it is, if we can launch a giant set of fuel tanks up with a probe, we can launch a probe really, really far. In fact, we're already going to Duna, so this should be a very easy mission. We're doing Geostationary. And we're going to want this to kind of serve, I think anyway, as a telecommunications hub. If we're going to put something up there, we want it to be, functional. We don't want it to just complete the objective. So we're going to put a big old dish on this thing. This thing has a range of 86 gigameters. Oh boy. You are going to be a nice little relay for deep space, or at least deeper space. Maybe not as deep as I'd like to go, but as deep as I can go right now anyway. So we're going to have you move over ever so slightly, get you centered on this probe core here. That seems pretty centered to me. Okay. So that's a big old dish. Second thing we could do is let's put on, how about batteries next? You can slap like a whole bunch of batteries around the thing. Let's do it as a hexagon. Since we have 6 sides on the probe, we'll do it with like this. So a bunch of batteries there just to make sure that it doesn't die and has all the power it needs. This dish for transmissions requires 12.5 electric charge, 12.5 units of electric charge per second. So we have a lot of batteries as it's kind of a bank that it can draw from, but we also need a lot of generation to go with it. What we're going to do is place one of these tanks on there, a little tank, and then a Terrier engine right there. That's going to give us 1900 meters per second. That's way enough to get where we need to go. So once this thing's in orbit, we can put it anywhere we want. So I'm going to say that we go ahead and grab a coupler, rather a decoupler, and then we can grab one of these longer tanks here. Let's do 2 longer tanks here. That's fine. And then we will go ahead and pop a swivel on this. That gives us 5,000 meters per second, just out of the box. Pretty dang good. I think 4 boosters is going to just be how we do this. And then I'm going to bring this down to here. Okay, so when we get up really high and start going really fast, the swivel is how we're going to regulate that speed so that we don't burn up that dish. I just hope that we don't burn up the dish before we get the boosters gone, right? I hope that's the case. So, all right, landing pad, launch pad, whatever you want to call it. Here we go. And we'll see how this goes. We're going to dial down the swivel because we're not going to need it. And we're going to try to go up quite a ways here. Get out of that thickest part of the atmosphere. And I think I might just do a gentle turn here. Something about like this ought to do. And with that, I think we can try to say stay prograde and just tell it to stay put. Now, it's starting to veer off this, so I want to get the... Oh, my God. What is happening? Oh, it does not... Oh, my God. What the frick? What is this? It just decides out of nowhere that it wants to go squirrely. That's crazy. That was quick. I mean, normally it's like a slow thing. We're not getting to where we need to be now, so we're just going to let it crash. But, I mean, if we're going to let it crash, it's science mode, right? We don't have any funds, so we might as well just revert to VAB, right? That was a lot faster. I didn't think it would go squirrely quite so quickly. The only thing I can think of is it's because of the dish. That's the only thing I can think of. And I was trying to avoid going with... I mean, I clearly have to go with a fairing. I just didn't want to. But that's going to have to be the way it is. Because I think the dish is what's causing that to happen. It should be a lot more stable than that. It really should be. Maybe not, though. I mean, if it's... You got to think about it from, like, all that wind pushing up against that. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyone who's saying right now that I'm wrong on that, you're probably right. Let's bring this out really wide, I guess. We'll go up about, let's say about there. Add another stage, come up this way. Add, I think we're probably good there. And then we want to go like that. It's such a weird fairing. It'll work though, I guess. That's our fairing now. I was just really trying to avoid doing that. But yeah, I mean, aerodynamics, it's going to matter. So, okay. Let's see how squirrely this is now. We want to make the fairing stage be, I think probably here is the best part for the fairing stage. All right, so new rocket looks like this. Let's try it again. We're going to dial down the swivel. We don't need to use that fuel yet. We can bring it up when we turn, just to give us that control. And then once we're headed in the right direction, we can dial it back down. Although we're able to go a lot faster now than we were before, right? Because we don't have to worry about the dish. Yeah, we don't really have to worry about that dish overheating now. So we really could just use that swivel right now at the lowest parts and just push it all up. See all that heat we're building up? That's no good. You don't want to do that. That's bad. That would have destroyed. That really would have destroyed everything. You know, it would have destroyed our dish for sure. But now that we have the fairing, everything is fine. So, all right then. So, apoapsis right now is at 76. We want this to keep going up. We actually want that to continue rising because we're going to be going on an adventure to 2800, I believe is what it is. 2863 and an orbital speed of 110. 2863 kilometers is the target altitude. So we don't have to worry about the fact that my apoapsis is 125 and rising right now. That doesn't matter. We just get to keep pushing this. So that's what we're going to do. Face it towards the horizon and go, go, go. And then as soon as we get to where we are in space, I think actually right now is fine. Let's go ahead and get the fairings out of here. There we go. We don't need them anymore. And we can try to accelerate a little bit. I want to get around these things. I don't want to crash into them though, because they will hurt me. Wah! Stay away. Okay. There we go. We can leave the fairings behind. Wish there was more ejection force on the fairings. That'd have been great. We can extend our solar panels. We won't be going back to the atmosphere, so might as well. And we're going to want to deorbit the stage that we're currently pushing with. So we want to make sure that that stage does not get a periapsis of 70K. It looks to me like that's not going to. Very good. Yeah, that's almost perfect, isn't it? Sweet. Let's get rid of it. And then we can just stage it. And we're at 2822 right now. So that's how high we're going, right? And we're not in orbit yet either. But we're going all the way up here. So what was the altitude we needed again? It was 2863. All right, so we're basically there. I'm gonna go to 2854 is fine, because as we start to bring this up, we might actually bring the apoapsis up too. So let's go ahead and time to, how about over here? We'll warp to this point in time. There we go, and one more point. I guess we'll go up to here. Okay, so what we want now actually is to burn to circularize. So just bring this out until those points switch. There we go. And that is going to be basically a circularized orbit right there. 447 meters per second is all that's going to take. So we'll point towards our node here. Let's make sure we don't lose. Again, with the dish on, I don't think we're going to lose communications, but a little bit of role play involved in this. Let's extend our communitron here, make sure we don't lose communications. Okay. And we are then going to zoom ahead to the burn here. I think it's going to be 16 seconds is all we're going to need. Very, very cool. Okay. And I don't exactly know what that will end up making our apoapsis be, but it's okay. I really just needed a reference. I don't actually need it to be an official maneuver, so we can probably just eyeball it, to be honest. But then I wouldn't get the music, the crescendo and the call out from the Kerbals. I like those things. There we go. So rising it up. And we're going to want to slow down here a little bit. Let's go ahead and slow it down. And very close now. We are circularized. I guess that counts. We're not completely there yet, but I guess that counts. Our orbital speed is basically 110. So we basically got there, okay, is what I'm saying. We do want to get this to be a bit more circularized, though. So it's, what is it, 1260, is it? 2863. That's basically circularized, but basically circularized is not circularized, okay? We want to be super circularized, super ultra mega circularized. All right, so we're going to go into circularization tendencies that we've not seen before. This is going to be circularized like no Kerbal has ever done. Because we're going to hit this right on the apoapsis, and that is it. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, come on, man. Off by 1. Ah. Oh. Off by 1 meter. From this distance, being off by 1 meter is just a travesty. All right, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so we're gonna want to face. I guess we just face whichever direction, doesn't matter, right? As long as our solar panels can get full coverage, and eventually, we'll either be facing away from Kerbin or whatever. I mean, it's here. Let's just point like this. Point towards the sun. How's that sound? No, because we're gonna be at Duna first, so we would want to point away from the sun. Wink, wink. We're gonna want to point out, away. It doesn't really matter because Duna is gonna be, towards the sun over here, and all that. So it doesn't matter. All right, so there is our geostationary or geostationary dish, circularized as the game requires. Let's go back to mission control. No idea how I'm editing this. Submit. 300 science is ours. Your satellite now shines brightly above Kerbin, a twinkling new star that never sets. The R&D team seemed especially excited to point their transmitters at the new satellite last night, though I could swear they looked a little disappointed when it was still there in the morning. I think I heard one of them grumble something about wanting to try a particle bean. I guess it's some kind of very small snack. Fair enough. Okay, so do new monument. That's the last thing we have to do. I'm not gonna go for a little chonker right now. We'll probably take care of this when we set up bases or missions or whatever. It's only 35 science. I don't really care. So Duna Monument, that's next. That's the next video we're going to do, okay? So thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have had a wonderful time with Kerbal Space Program with me. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.